So I just got done doing my little product review of the Scout Hyper, which I've had for a while, and then my recently picked up slightly used RH2 Rogue model of the Westside Reverse Hyper. So these are both Westside models of the Reverse Hyper that Louis Simmons created first and foremost as a rehab tool for when he broke his spine a couple times. So weirdly, I have to kind of thank him for breaking his spine to come up with these great rehab tools. So I use them with myself and my clients and patients for spine training and rehab and prehab before we even get to load the Reverse Hyper in a more traditional sense. So within the last 24 hours since I've picked this guy up, people have asked me before about how I like the Scout and what I think about it in comparison to like the stationary Reverse Hyper or the regular stationary Reverse Hyper. So I took a bunch of notes on what I liked and disliked about each one. So just kind of first and foremost, this thing is obviously takes up a smaller footprint, so that's pretty cool. It just folds up and I just stuff it in the corner there. That's the thing I like about this thing the most. I was, when I first got a little skeptical about having to like open and close it a bunch because I was afraid that it wouldn't hold up its integrity. But I've been pleasantly surprised. Like, this thing is pretty gnarly, it's awesome, it's very robust. And it doesn't feel chintzy, like I hate chintzy, like cheap feeling shit. And this is not that, like it's very sturdy, I like it a lot. Obviously this thing isn't going anywhere. It is very sturdy and robust, and it's all steel or whatever metal they use. Very little plastic, so that's nice. Nothing feels like it's gonna like loosen over time from opening and closing. Just from while my hands are on it, I do like the shape and the roundness of this pad in comparison to the sharp angle here. How I can describe it like being on it, like this one feels like you're being like stabbed with a spoon, and this one feels like you're being stabbed with a butter knife. So I personally don't find these like comfortable, but from a training perspective, like they're both very comfortable for the different things that I'm trying to train. So without further ado, let's run through my list really quickly. So I do like the RH2, I feel the lengthening in my spine better actually when I come into flexion. So I did feel good stretching and lengthening in the lumbar spine when doing my the loaded and the unloaded work. So I did like that. I was surprised by that because I haven't felt that really in a while, I guess, because I've had this for a while. And then towards the end of using this, I could start to feel the lengthening occurring better on the Scout. I did notice on both of them, I had to adjust higher up and put the fulcrum closer to my pelvis to get like the higher segments of my lumbar, to feel the higher segments of my lumbar working. And that was both loaded and unloaded. So it took me a little bit to kind of work the segments and just kind of find those two positions. So when I tested them with weight, I went from 90 pounds on each of them, and then I backed it off to 50 pounds on each. And I did 2 working sets of like 8 to 10 or something, where I went, I changed the fulcrum from like rib cage-ish to pelvis. And then did 2 sets here, 1 on each fulcrum, and then 2 sets here, 1 on each fulcrum. And those both felt good. Little subtle differences I noticed. Again, the length was one. The pendulum arm on this one is obviously smaller and lighter. I'm sure that has something to do with what I felt on this one. I could really feel the weight better on this one, and I got like a really good contraction, and yeah, just like feeling that load felt really good on this one. Not that this feels bad, but it was a noticeable difference where you could really feel the weight working underneath you on the RH2. A difference obviously is the handle angle. I was very surprised at like how much I liked the straight angles on the RH2. I got a little better contraction out of my back just from pulling at a different angle. Again, this isn't bad, but I did prefer that one and it just felt really good. This one puts you in a more flex position, which I like. This one puts you in a little more extended position, which is probably why I can irradiate and kind of pull on those handles a little bit better. What else? I did like, as I kind of backed the weight off, I could really feel like my psoas lengthening, and I like that. So yeah, that was good. I felt that on both. Felt that psoas lengthening when I was in the top position. Like I said, I like that sensation. I like to be aware that my psoas is there. What I didn't like the shorter handles on either one, probably because I don't really need them, and it puts me in a funky position. And I'm kind of pitched too high, and this thing just digs into my guts on both of them, and I don't like that. What else? I think those were like the heavy hitters. But yeah, this one is, I tend to like this one for smaller patients or clients, and they can kind of utilize the shorter handles if need be, and they fit really well even on the longer handles. This one, you put too small of a person on there, it looks like they're just a baby, like on a changing station or something. So I tend to notice that smaller clients or even female clients like the Scout Hyper better, and it's just a little more comfortable for smaller people in comparison to this. But all in all, I mean, they're great. They're both great. I plan on rotating or using these simultaneously quite often, just to load my spine in different ways and to get clients to do the same. So, one other thing is the Scout has a cross arm in front that I like to attach a mini band to. So this one, I only need one band. And then on this one, there is no cross arm. So I have to use two bands to crisscross and put on the pendulum. So this one just needs one band, where this one needs a minimum of two, at least how I use them. So yeah, all in all, I mean, they're both awesome. If you're thinking about getting one, you don't have a lot of space, this one is very good. And then if you do have the space, or if you're kind of spoiled like me, you can have both. And like I said, if you have the room, this one's awesome. Or if you can get your hands on the original Westside ones, those are awesome. But yeah, all in all, the Scout Hyper is awesome, and the RH2 is awesome. So a lot of awesome, and hopefully that helps.